So what's in my hunting bag, you might ask? Well, even if you didn't ask, I'm going to tell you anyway. So just as important as what's in your bag, hunting bag, is knowing exactly where it's at. So you can blindly grab it in the dark, on the fly, without making any noise. So you have it if a deer is coming in. So with my backpack, it's just a basic back to school shopping backpack. I'm thinking it was on sale probably for like 20 bucks. It's got 3 compartments, a big compartment, a middle compartment that's a little bit smaller, and then the front compartment, which is a little bit smaller than that. And then it does have these 2 side compartments. Talking about weight real quick and what you can put in your backpack. Now, if you're hunting on public land where you're taking a climbing tree stand in and out every morning or every afternoon, the extra weight does, is a burden at the end of the day, and then you have to really condense down what you really need and what you don't really need in the woods. Now, if you're hunting on private land and you have a tree stand that sits there year round and that's 25 extra pounds you don't have to carry in the woods, well, maybe you can put a few extra creature comforts in your backpack. But for me, I'm hunting on public land, and I have it condensed down to what's the lightest for me, that has all the gear I need, and that's what I'm working with. Alright, so let's get down to the fun stuff. So like I said, everything in this bag has a place, and there's a place for everything. So the way I pack my bag is whatever way I'm going to need it the most often. Stuff when I first get to my tree is going to be outside pockets. Stuff that I don't need that often, obviously, would be more towards the middle of the bag, deeper in the bag. So here we go. So first off, in these outside pockets, I have one headlamp, and I love having backups of everything. A handheld flashlight, and a second headlamp. The reason I carry, 3 forms of light is mainly because I want to always have a backup just in case something happens with one. I also keep my knives in here because, I should probably put my knives where I can grab them a little more easily, hoping that I'm going to harvest some more stuff. I carry 3 knives on me at all times. One's going to be on my pocket from the get-go. I carry this one, which is a Kershaw knife, and it does have a gut hook. I got a gut hook at the end of last season, mainly because it makes things a lot easier, so yeah, that's what I got. I like it, sharp, works. I've only got one deer with it, the one this year. I also have, this is the second knife. This is just a cheapo redhead from Bass Pro Shops. It was like $2 at the cashiers. I got that. I also carry a screw with me. Mainly because when it comes to, if you turn it off your light and knocks, I don't like using my broadhead for it. I'd rather use a nail or something else, so I keep this in there. I also have a whistle, safety first, and the keys for my trail camera lock. That's mainly if I'm in the same woods or near the same woods and say I want to pull it a little bit earlier. It's just also so I keep my keys for my hunting camera with my hunting stuff so I don't lose them. So that all sits in this one outside pocket. Move that over there. So this other outside pocket, that one just carries only my pull ropes. Now, sooner or later I'm going to get a hoist system so I don't have to fool around with a bunch of cords and everything else. But I do have 2 pull ropes, one for only my bow and one for my this bag and then my camera bag. Those are both, I think, right at 50 feet or 40 feet, somewhere in that area. I think I cut them down actually, so they're probably at 40 feet. And I wrapped those up tightly, and then the wrap just came off. There's one, and then there's the other one. So with these, obviously, too, I explained it last time that there's actually a knot at 20 feet from the bottom of this carabiner. So that just gives me an idea if I'm unsure especially if it's dark and I'm unsure how high I am, but I know I want to be at 20 to 23 feet, somewhere in that area. I just pull up my rope and I fill the knot, boom. It is gravy. So that's the outside compartments. This front compartment is the next kind of, important part. So in that I have a grunt call. I have, this is my baggie. I keep my license, my tags, all my field tags, the chart that has the list of the public land codes and the private land codes and the county codes that you have to put on your tags, and 2 pins. That stays in there in a Ziploc bag. Whenever I have my wallet, obviously I'm not hunting, but my wallet would be in here, and my keys, my car keys would stay in there too. Right there. That should be it for that. That's that for that. This pocket has, I mean, it's a school book bag, so it has like these little partitions and stuff. I just always make sure just in case I forget something. I keep my rangefinder in there. That is a Halo XRT6 rangefinder. I like it. Haven't had an issue out of it yet. I keep my wind checker, which is just a dead downwind wind checker, and the wind's blowing really good today. Woo. But yeah, I keep my dead downwind wind checker in there. Aha. And now I have powder all over me. Whatever. I keep my wind checker in there, and also keep my face paint in there, which I don't use as much as I should, but it's fun. Alright, so this middle compartment, boom, right on top is the rope that attaches me to the tree. This is my safety rope for my tree stand. It sits right on top, of course, because I can just open up my bag, boom, it's right there, take it out, hook me up to the tree, I'm ready to roll. I also keep in here bear spray. So the bear spray, it's only because I spent 50 bucks on it or whatever I paid for back at REI, so I figure since I spent the money on it, why not keep it on me? You never know, there could be a dog running through the woods. I've seen that happen before. You could also have a raccoon or something else start climbing up your tree. I've seen that before. Luckily it wasn't the tree I was in, but it just ran up and then started darting up the tree. The other thing is there could be a whole family of raccoons in the tree above you, especially in the morning, that you don't see one of the pockets that they go in. So, hey, you know what? I spent the money on it, why not use it? Or have it anyway. I hope I never have to use it. I do keep it's not a medical kit, but it does have some Band-Aids, some Tylenol, a lighter just in case, but that's kind of like a small medical baggie just with anything, just in case you get in the woods and you need that. This is also my kill kit, kind of, in a way. I have gloves, hand sanitizer, toilet paper obviously has two reasons. The first reason being, general use. The second reason I have toilet paper is I heard this from somebody else, and it was basically where you can, if you're following a blood trail and you keep losing it, you go back to the last spot you saw the blood, tear off a piece of toilet paper, sit it on the ground next to that, keep going and keep following the blood trail, and then that way you can mark the blood trail so it's a little bit easier to stick with. The good part about just using the toilet paper is that whenever it rains or whatever, it just disintegrates, and hey, you're not littering, so it's kind of cool. That's that. I keep a Gorilla Pod in there. It has my GoPro mount on it right now, but I do like having the Gorilla Pod. I don't know, they're super handy. I keep my Gorilla Pod in here just in case, because you never know when you want to wrap it around something. Comes in handy, I think. So that sits in there too. I also have one of those cool, like, emergency blankets. You know what, like I said, just in case, you never know. Even if you're familiar with the woods, you can get lost. That happens every year. Hunters get lost in the woods during gun season. You don't hear about it so much in the bow season, but definitely in the gun season. So, you never know. You can get turned around back there. At least you want to have some type of safety equipment. Oh, and also in my medical bag, I don't know if I mentioned it, I also keep a lighter in there. Hey, you never know if you have to start a fire. I do keep a rattle bag in the same compartment. I don't use it that much. I just keep it in there, and actually now that it's getting closer to the rut, I have one of the Primos cans. I'll throw that in there too, but the grunt is my primary. These just kind of sit in there just in case if nothing is going on. I'll may do a rattle sequence to see if I can bring something in. I also keep a extra release for my bow. Definitely want to have one of those, because you never know, your release, you can not fasten it right, it can fall off, you forget it at the house, anything. So I keep an extra release in that same pocket. At the bottom of that pocket, all the way in there, is my deer drag. I also keep a deer cart in the back of my car. It stays in the trunk. So then last but not least is the main pouch. The only thing that goes in there is my camera arm. Now when it comes to clothing, so when it gets, this morning I think it was in the 40s, low 40s. So I ended up wearing my my cold gear stuff, my puffy Bass Pro Shops, Redhead, whatever they call it, gear, cold gear. And the thing is that I don't stuff that in my bag. I actually when I put my tree, or before I put my tree stand on, I actually fold them up and lay them across, and then bungee strap them on, because I don't want to fill up my bag with something like that, like a useless extra weight. When it does get a lot colder, and say that I wear a shirt or something like that in, to the woods, I actually keep an extra shirt in my bag, and then I'll take the sweaty shirt off at the tree, put that shirt in a Ziploc bag, you know, so you're not moving scent around, and then put the dry shirt on. Definitely when it's cold, there's nothing worse than getting up a tree and shivering for hours on end because you didn't think ahead when you're packing up your cold gear and putting on dry gear after you've walked to your stand and you built up a sweat. So that's what I do. And in the it's like a laptop pouch in here. I keep a topo map, just something to look at just in case, you know, I want to move, especially when it gets closer to the rut. I might move midday. And then the last but not least is my pocket Penzie. He's with me on every hunt. Andrew Penzie, Comac, New York. So that's what I keep in my hunting bag. In the big compartment, I also do take a water bottle with me whenever I go, just because, you know what, it's always a good thing to have some extra water just in case. You want to use a plastic bottle, but you don't want to. You want to use one that is a reusable bottle, not one of those ones that you just kind of drink out of it and make a lot of noise, crunching noise whenever you grab a hold of it. You know, don't use those. If you're going to use a water bottle, use something. Spend 20 bucks on one of those reusable, really solid, thick plastic ones. Because you never know how much noise those things make until you get in the woods. All right, so that's it for me. I need to pack up my bag so I can get ready for an evening hunt. If you have any questions about what I use or anything or how I pack my stuff, feel free to ask. There's plenty of videos out there on YouTube about what people take. I mean, it's pretty much the same thing from hunter to hunter. Obviously, if you're hunting the type of land where you don't have a stationary tree stand, say if you're hunting public land and you have to hike in, hike out every time with your tree stand, you're going to have to figure out ways to cut down on the weight somehow. You know, and in this bag alone, just with this stuff in it, with the camera arm and everything else, I mean, it's probably 10 pounds, 10, 12 pounds with all this stuff in it at least. So you got to really sit down at what you're looking at. If you're humping in a lot of gear, you got to sit down and look what you're looking at and figure out if you really need that type of gear. But that kind of goes with anything. If you go on just a day hike or something like that, do I really need to take this extra 5 pounds or whatever? So at least that's the way I looked at whenever I started getting my hunting stuff together. Well, good luck out there.
How long did I talk for?